good to be back together again.
Hello.
Hello. It's fun because as we're recording this, Granger's podcast just came out.
Yesterday, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, because it's a Wednesday. It's like we're kind of in the first third. What's it, April 9th, I think, as we're recording this. And so we had an event at PD, our last event of the school year yesterday with him.
We saw him.
And we saw him, and it was really, really cool. So, yeah, it's kind of fun to be back in the studio. So welcome to the Four Students Podcast. It's me, Ed, and our friend Kellie, everybody's favorite. And so it's been fun recording these and then running into some of these people again, and to see how people are responding even online to them, how people are sharing them and stuff like that. But it's also kind of cool knowing what was said on those podcasts with those people, and then for us to kind of continue on with them and to know some of the updates on some of that stuff.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Like we had a great conversation with Granger yesterday.
Yeah.
And I will get all the details wrong, so I'm not going to say them.
Yeah, I will get them wrong too.
Some really cool stuff happening with all of the swimming.
Yeah.
He went 7 races with no change, right?
No.
What was it?
It
7...
was like when he was here last in February, he had the big races coming up in mid-March,
but he was worried about them because he was like not improving time-wise.
Yeah, he had plateaued.
Yes.
And then we found out yesterday, because I asked him about it, and he's like, yeah, actually I had 7 PRs in 7 races, just crushed it.
Yeah.
And so he has, in his words, a new time standard. Yeah. So I don't know exactly what that means other than I think he's like...
So cool.
Yeah, he did really well, better than he expected. And he said that one of his races in particular, remember he was telling us, went so poorly as far as his lead up.
Yes, like he, even up until like 3 or 4 minutes before he was supposed to go, things were just going wrong.
Yes.
Like thing after thing, series of unfortunate events were just happening and happening. And then he just jumped in the pool and just did it and PR'd.
And crushed. That's so cool. Yeah, so fun.
He's also just so great.
He is, and it's so relaxed, and it's just fun to continue to see him. So I'm pumped that a lot of people are seeing, or hearing his story. It's really, really cool. Other people, I had a conversation actually with Evan, and so from a long time ago, we interviewed Evan. That was in August, like at the end of his internship last year, and he was away.
You had him.
That was before you had even come on to be a co-host with me, and Evan was. At Denison and is at Denison, but he was there in the fall, but he's been studying actually abroad in England this whole semester. And so he and I ended up talking on the phone for like an hour and 45 minutes yesterday. He's traveling all over, seeing all these places in Europe. And
that's so
we're having these great conversations around these shows that we like Severance, but also in the U.S. right now, as we're recording this show, and maybe it's globally, but certainly on Netflix in the U.S., this show Adolescence has kind of exploded. It's heavy.
Yeah.
And I think we told you, Jen, and I started watching it, and I was like, okay, we've watched an episode, it's about 50 minutes, and every episode is a single shot. Like the camera doesn't, there's no cuts.
That's crazy.
So it's really, it's there's something unsettling about it. You don't realize how used you are to just being your brain gets a rest. Like, okay, we're going to reset, and now, but you're riveted because you're following these people through this thing the whole time.
Every time that happens in a movie, my husband, Dane, and I will just be like, this has been one shot for like the past 5 minutes.
Yes.
And it just is, it draws you in.
It does.
So crazy.
And it's set in England, somewhere in the UK, and with around this English family. And so I was asking him, like, if it had blown up there. And he's like, no, I haven't really heard anybody talking about it. And it's like one of the top shows in the U.S. and has been for a few weeks now, I think. So, and I said, it was just this interesting idea. I was like, I wonder if it's because it's set there. It's not as novel. It's just like, if it was a story about an American family and something that happened here, would we latch onto it? Or is it more interesting because of these accents and these little nuanced differences and culture? I don't know. But we had this great conversation. He's doing really well. I'm trying to think. Caroline Seaford is away and doing really well, living her best life, just crush. Every time I see she's involved with something else on her socials.
Yes.
And then Caleb, I saw him actually on Sunday, but at our event, our citywide event.
Yep, we saw him.
But I haven't talked to him around what he's actually doing now.
We kind of left with a cliffhanger for him.
We
it
did.
was like, am I going to go to school away? Am I going to go to school here? Am I going to pursue things with like what are we doing here?
The funny thing is that I have had a conversation with him since then, just about, because when it came out, it was a long time after we had recorded it. And he did say, it's so weird to listen to myself say these things and how many things I would answer differently now.
He already disagrees with himself.
Yes. And it's only a few months later.
Yeah.
But all that to say, he has not gone away to school, so he decided not to go. But I think he's still trying to figure out. I think he's maybe considering going after a trade, like a carpenter or electrician or something like that.
Yeah.
Like working with his hands. All I know is the kid climbs all the time. All of his posts are him.
All of his posts
are this indoor climbing gym here in Charlotte, like him doing all these moves. He's really good at it. It's
very
cool.
good at it. Even he posts like, this was trash.
Yes.
And then he makes it to like the second to last one of that path. I'm like, bro, that was amazing. That
was amazing. I couldn't hold on for like half that.
I know.
He's like of that time.
Back this way. It's ridiculous.
Awesome. But we're continue to do things all over. We're getting near the end of our time, like our events in our partner schools.
I was thinking about it today. After our pop-up tomorrow, we have 3 events left for the school year.
Wow.
Which is crazy. We start with like 40.
Yeah, something like that.
Something in that ballpark.
Yeah. Because several of our schools were now doing events with their junior class and doing year-long events
and then sometimes we do a recess or a pop-up extra. Like it's in that range, and we're down to 3.
Yeah, 3 more. Yeah, it was wild to say goodbye to the juniors at Union Academy today. And this is our last event. We had an event this morning.
Yeah.
And had a great event around our thoughts and the way we think about or should think about our thinking. And it was weird at the end of it to be like, and we'll see you in the fall, like when you're all seniors, when we start working with you as a senior class.
Hope you remember us.
Yeah, hope you remember us. Hope you still like us then.
Hope you like us now.
Hope you like us now. This is the 4th time we've hung out. Hope you like us now. But so only just a few more events, and then we're gearing up for our conferences at the end of the year. Mm-hmm. So lots of stuff going on, lots of good things. We had our last citywide event this Sunday.
We did. It was so fun.
It was really fun.
That has been such a sweet, nuanced thing through the year that's been really refreshing. Like we've got to see a lot of we get to spend more time with them first
off. Like 2 hours minimum, 2.5 hours sometimes.
I feel like the relationships alone grow so much more at those events than others.
Yeah.
We've also kind of seen some students that we knew years ago kind of come back and see how they're thriving and it's just been really, really cool.
Yeah. And it's neat because we get to serve them dinner, so we get this time to kind of sit and eat with them. We do all these giveaways.
We play games. It's so fun.
It is really fun. Yeah. But we had our last one of the school year for that, although we're going to try and do a couple of touch points throughout the summer, like little surprise things. We're kind of trying to dream
really
about how to
excited
make
about
it cool.
that.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
It made me excited that they're excited about it.
They were like, but you really are going to
Yeah, well, this isn't it, right?
Like, we're going to do stuff.
Yeah, we're going to try and do at least 2 things this summer. We'll see how they go. So it's just been, I don't know, it's wild to think about wrapping up a school year. And I continue to be really proud of the stuff we're doing. Yeah. So we wanted to get on, because it hasn't been just you and I since the very beginning when we had no clue and we were trying to figure out, okay, what in this first episode do we even want to say? We kind of want to give a preview.
Rando things.
We did.
But
then I think we got to, if I'm remembering correctly,
what we
hope this podcast would be. But so we were thinking that this would be a decent time, just you and I catch up a little bit, you and me, and perhaps kind of start introducing some of this content that we've been giving the students all year.
Yeah.
And before we get into this first topic that we usually like to kick the year off with, and will become the first content event that we do with the juniors after our big party kind of kickoff. This is who we are. This is what you can expect. Before we get into that, I thought it would be kind of interesting just to talk about how much we think about this and strategize around what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
And even in what order we're going to talk about things. Because we spend a lot of time as a team and with our advisory board trying to determine, hey, we've only got this many events with students.
There's an infinite things we can amount of things that we can
talk about.
And
it feels like as we go, every few months, there's some other big thing oh my gosh, that'd be an amazing thing to talk about that.
Yeah. And I guess we definitely don't just reach in and pull out this
let's do
month
this
is stress.
Yes.
We have sat down with the team and kind of really intentionally looked at what information students need before hearing this.
Yeah.
And we kind of have worked our way back to the beginning and like boiled it all the way down to like, okay, what do they need to know first? Like, what is the foundation that we can build off of all school year long? Mm-hmm. So that's how we've kind of placed them in an order where we believe it is the most helpful.
Yeah, and our advisory team seems to agree that this seems to be the best way to do it.
Yep. So kind of what we've learned over the years is you have lots of things. There's decision making, there's stress, there's work, there's school, there's relationships, like family, romantic, all of the things. But really, the only thing that you can control is yourself.
Yeah.
And your, like, what's going on inside of you.
Yeah.
And so the first step that we love to start with is understanding you. Like, why you behave in a certain way, why you make the decisions that you make, why when you walk into this room, this is what your instincts are. And we can kind of look and see like, okay, oh, this is how you're wired. And so this is why you made that decision. And just that awareness is so, like, it's such a game changer.
Yeah, it's like the way I was thinking about it, like on my drive up here, I was like, it's almost like not a full, like, in-depth user's manual, but it's like a pretty good, like, primer on this is kind of what you're working with. This is what this product does, right? Yes. And so understanding what
if you do this, this will happen.
Yeah. And it is not recommended that you use this product to, et cetera. Like, while my phone probably could, if I were very careful, I could tap in a little finishing nail in something, or whatever with maybe the edge of it or something like that. Probably not best to use. It's not made to do that.
Right.
And it's just better to use it the way it was meant to be operated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the other thing that I found myself thinking about was this whole thing of how that, not just like the thing that you can control is you, and so we're going to start with you, but it's funny that every one of our events comes back to, right?
That's true. That's kind of the thread.
Yeah. That we found that, like, wow, it'd be really cool to give them this information, but wow, really the spine of running through the whole thing is the only thing you can control is you.
Right.
And so we keep tying it back to you, every one of these. Like, here's something that we're going to try to empower you with so that you are better able to. Yeah. And our advisory board kind of is interesting, particularly with our friend Amy. We talked a lot about if you could talk to students about a certain number of things and what you're encountering in your practice, right? And we talked to Patrick this way, our advisory board in general, Amanda, a lot of these therapists, addiction specialists here in Charlotte. What are you hearing in your office? And what are these core skills that you feel like students need to understand most? Or if we only have 5 to 7 events with them, what would you talk about? Yeah, because we really do have to say, okay, some things are going to fall under that red line. Yeah. What do we need to make sure we prioritize and at the top? And I think the 4 that they always came back to was distress tolerance, like how do they deal with difficult feelings, emotions?
Yep.
This idea of interpersonal effectiveness, like how good are you at relationship? Like, and that's obviously a lot of what we're going to talk about today too, is a big piece of that is knowing yourself. And then choosing who you're spending time with. There's mindfulness, and that's a word I think we throw around like all the time.
It's kind of a buzzword these days.
It really is. But when you think about what it means being like the ability to be present, and like, okay, well, that means that you're not ruminating on stuff from the past.
Yeah.
And you're not constantly anxious about what's coming in the future.
Like
That's
here.
Why being able,
now.
I can be here and be okay without thinking about that stupid thing that I said on the last podcast. You know what I'm saying? Or worrying about what I'm going to talk about next time or even what I'm going to say next. But how can I just be present and be here and how much better that feels?
So much harder than...
Oh my gosh, than just talking or saying this sentence. I'm practicing mindfulness. Yeah.
Gosh, it's a lot harder than that.
And then the last one is emotion regulation. I always want to say emotional regulation, but it's emotion regulation. And this ability to, when we find ourselves, as all of our therapist friends say, dysregulated, where we are either, in this kind of fight mode and, we're this amygdala hijack where we're like enraged, or we find ourselves like, flight, like freezing or isolating or kind of wanting to withdraw.
How do you get back?
How do you stay?
Yeah.
So those are I don't know, to give everybody kind of listening an idea, that's some of the stuff we're thinking through as we designed all these events. And then this first one happens to be like this thing around, who are you? Like, what is your predisposition?
Yes.
What do you remember? Because this is an interesting, I think, maybe place to start before, because I have the presentation that right here in front of us on my laptop so that we can kind of refer to the order in which we kind of talk to students about this. But for you, growing up, when did you start becoming aware maybe about things that you were good at? Like, oh, this is true about me. Like this, other people, this seems difficult for them, but for me, this kind of comes, pretty easily, or at least easier than it does seem. These people can't do that, and I just do that without really much thinking about it. And then the stuff that you found out, like, oh shoot, this is also true about me, and I don't like that this is true about me.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm different than others, but I definitely had a lot of those realizations in my 20s. I did not.
Are you not in your 20s?
No. So close.
I'm not in my 20s either. Go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
No way. I feel like this is probably a story for a different day, but okay. Because of like the way that I grew up, I had a lot of things that I needed to debunk in my early 20s.
Like things
you believed
that you had to. A lot of things that I
believed about myself that didn't end up being true.
Okay.
Because of circumstances and family and all of that stuff. And so I was very negative, very like introverted, very scared, like fearful, pretty constantly.
Yeah.
And like I knew you during some of those
early.
times.
Well, but I think I was meeting you probably near the end, or I don't know where we met in the midst of that.
In the middle of like some of this self-discovery.
Yeah.
Maybe like a little bit of fake it till you make it point where there was probably a lot more going on inside than I was portraying.
Yes. Oh yeah, certainly.
But I actually did one of these assessments with a group of young adults that we were meeting with at the time. It was like couples. And it was we did a few of them, I remember. And it was the first time that I like took this thing and I had other people speaking into my strengths. Which is really cool. Like that
was in your 20s, the first time other people said, I see this about you.
Yeah. Married in my 20s. And so then I was volunteering with an organization, and then I was like, I really want to be on staff there, and thought I would never be able to do it because I wasn't good at anything. And so then like started working really, really hard and finding things that I was good at that other people like needed me for. Like I felt this like, you're good at this, will you come and help? And I feel like this little snowball just started to roll at that point where like I was like, oh, I'm good at this. I'm good at this. Oh, I'm good at this. Like I can help. And like it just kept growing and growing and growing. And so since then I have really latched onto a lot of these things because they tell me a lot about myself. Like I can sit and I can think and it gives me such an awareness to be like, okay, this is what you need to lean into. This is what you need to be aware of. This is what you need. This is like a roadblock that's going to be really hard for you. And if you can grow through this, then like this is good over here. And you should stay away from this because this is not good for you. And I've done so many of these things and they're really helpful. Like,
oh, yeah, agreed.
I try not to go down like rabbit holes with like making it my entire personality.
Yeah.
But it was the first successful thing that kind of made me feel like I had value.
Yeah. And you could see in these other people, like they
believe that about me.
Yes. They're like, oh, they are not, they're speaking it out loud. They see these things in you.
Yeah.
And like, wow, when I show up and I'm able to help them in this way, in ways that they aren't good at.
Yeah.
I like feeling, I imagine. We all love feeling
I feel
that.
value. I feel worth.
Yeah.
And that also has its other side where it's...
That's what I was going to ask. Is like, when was the first time you started bumping into, oh, but I'm not good at this?
Yeah. I think you've been through all of these things with me.
Well, because now we've known each other.
Known each other for a long time.
Yeah, like 13 years or something now.
I feel like well, me and my husband are very open with each other, and we talk about our downfalls, in marriage and in just as people. And if you can't make light of something and be okay with this failure, or not even a failure, this like thing that you're just not good at, then it just is such a harder blow than if you can just be like, oh my gosh, yeah, I did that and it was so stupid. Like, I'm just not good at that. And you're so good at that. And I don't know. I feel like we've grown together in that a lot.
We have.
Lots of team things where like I pick on you because of things and you pick on me, and like it's us keeping each other humble.
Yeah, that's true.
But then we can be like, oh yeah, I was really harsh in that moment. Like I can think that because I naturally go that way. I'm a little bit more critical. And so when you poke fun at me, I'm like, oh, there it was.
Oh yeah. Boom.
Or if you are like, I can tell what you're thinking.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
now in a lot of cases, now we've done so many events together. We just kind of like this morning, you're literally like, I was like, ooh, what if we, and you're like, I need you to go over there. And you like literally, I need you to get, you need to get away from me.
Your thing, and I need you to leave me alone. You did.
And I did. And I was unoffended. Here, the question I think it made me think of is, when were you able to start laughing at stuff? Because I think for a lot of us, early on, when somebody touches on something that like that nerve is so raw that it's really painful. Like it's like, ooh, and it's hard to laugh at things we're not good at. What do you think that was?
I think it's safety, and I think it's trust.
It was the people that were.
I think it's the people.
Okay.
And that might not be the same for everybody. Yeah. I don't think that there's a certain point where you're just enlightened and you can just handle it.
Right.
I think that there's always going to be some sort of opinion that would hurt you.
Sure.
From someone. Like there's going to be something that happens or some circumstance that happens that's going to just like knock you down a couple of pegs.
Yeah.
But if you have safe people that are speaking these things into you and like you know that they have your best interest.
Yeah, they're actually for you.
They actually care about you.
They're really...
They think great things about you also, not just negative things about you. And if that trust is there, then you should be able to just laugh it off and say, okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And even if you can't laugh it off at the beginning, but maybe put a little more stock into it as opposed to like, this person loves me. They're for me. Yeah. They celebrate me when good things happen. I know that they, it's not just this, they're trying to knock me down.
Yeah.
I wonder if what they're saying is true. Maybe I should look at that, even if you can't laugh at it at first.
Right.
But I think that's just an interesting, that occurred to me when you were saying that, like, maybe that's an interesting trigger, or like, we always talk about when flags pop up that make us notice something, that maybe if we can't laugh about something, a flag should go up and be like, interesting. Yeah. Like, I wonder why I can't laugh about that.
Why am I feeling that?
Yeah, yeah. And
like, there's that insecurity.
Yeah.
Where is it coming from?
Yeah.
Is it this person? Is it because I feel like a failure in this? Like, what is it? Let's name it.
Yeah, yeah. Is it a new awareness? Because something that has been, the things that you and I joke around or with each other about, we're so aware of these things generally. Right. But if it were a brand new thing that I was blind to and I thought I was good at this, and then suddenly you pointed it out, that wouldn't be that fun.
It's like how I always say, like, the more times that you say something out loud, the less it owns you.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with that.
And so, like, if it's a story, like, that is really hard to talk about at first, the more you talk about it, it's not... I don't want to say it's a callous, but like it does feel like you grow into this thing. Like it doesn't own you anymore. It doesn't stay inside like this secret, this nasty thing.
This resentment, this secret.
This like, I'm hiding this thing about me. It's, I'm like this sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's freeing, and it just doesn't have to own you anymore.
That's really good. And particularly, and not all of us are external processors like I am and like your husband is, and we love to just talk things out loud. And once we hear ourselves say it, we're like, oh yeah, that's what I think about this.
Right.
I need to say it out loud to even know what I think sometimes. But I think that's probably the value, or at least certainly part of the value of talk therapy, is you being willing to say out loud these things that you actually feel and hear yourself say them, and acknowledge that these things are true. And I really feel this really did happen. I really do feel this way. Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting thing. Drag it out into the light and walk around its edges and look at it, and being willing to look at it.
Every
that's
time
kind of
you
an
say
interesting
it gets
kind of
easier.
thing. Yeah, that's true. yeah, I think for me, it's funny. My phone's ringing and I'm trying to turn it off.
Mine is
So
too.
that
Spam.
Oh, mine was from my daughter. Sorry.
Oh.
Sorry, Annie.
Sorry,
Can't
Annie.
answer right now. I'm on a podcast.
Sorry, spam.
For me, I'm trying to think, like, it was probably also interestingly, probably in my 20s. Like
I wish it was earlier.
Yeah,
For
I
both of
really
us.
do. Yeah, me too. Like, I wish that, and I think both of us, our family stories, I mean, that could be a whole episode where
Honestly.
we talk about your story for one and we talk about mine. Because, like, you and your relationship with your dad and all of that stuff, and me and my relationship with my dad and my mom. My dad being married 8 times, like it's just crazy. My mom was his 6th wife. So it's just wild. I mean, there's so many things we could get into, but there weren't a lot of people around me speaking honestly into my world until I finally moved out from living with my grandpa, my papa, and moved in with this group of guys. Yeah. And you learn so much, obviously, about yourself in those moments.
For sure.
When you're finally living with other people and I don't know, when they say things, it just feels differently than when someone in your family says it, when someone that is a friend or someone you're trying to stay in good graces with. Or
someone that you respect.
Yeah, and I did. I respected these guys. They were funny, and they were so confident. Like, their upbringings were so different than mine. They had arrived with so many different tools at school that I did. And I don't know. And it was just wild to hear them talk about things perhaps that I was good at and stuff. And I got up and spoke at a couple of things, interestingly, and I realized that I could make people laugh. And instead of being afraid of getting up and talking in front of people, like, I could actually, I enjoyed it when I did it well. And so that was kind of a really cool thing.
Yeah.
But I can remember being in, and I think it was, I'm pretty sure, I've thought back on this because we were in this really, not awesome punk band when I was in college. And I was so thankful to be included. Like, they just like, oh, well, you're gonna sing, and I don't even sing, and I don't sing, but I hear
not all the way true.
I can hear where notes are, and I can tell if I'm on, but I certainly can't. I'm not a musician or anything like that. I played the trombone in middle school. But I was in this band, and I love being around these guys, and the drummer was absolutely insane sick. Like, he is, like, for the University of Florida marching band and part of this drum and bugle corps. The bass player was really, really good. The guitar player was great, but I think self-taught and all of this kind of stuff, but really, really good. And then here I am on the microphone, screaming in these songs or yelling in these songs, trying to pretend that I was angry, and I was kind of just pretty happy guy.
Just so happy.
And so it was not a great fit.
That's okay.
And I wanted to be angry so bad because all the music we were listening to was so angry, but I just couldn't drum up a lot of angst. But I tried. But eventually it was at the time they're like, you know what, we're just gonna try and do our own thing, and you can go. And I was like, okay, this is great timing. It didn't feel great, but it was great timing. But all that to say, with those guys in that band, some of the best times that I had in college was laughing with those roommates that I mentioned before and with these guys. And I remember at a party, and I talk about this at our event with students, that, like, the thing that allowed me to get up, this extroversion that allowed me to get up in front of people and talk or sing and be the front person for this, this band, and go and play in bars and stuff, had a flip side to it, kind of like what you were talking about, that this strength has it has this Achilles heel attached to it, like hidden on the other side of the coin. And at this one party, they all do. And this one party at the end of the night, I can't remember who it was. It may have been Joe, our drummer. He's just an amazing guy. But he was like, hey, have you ever noticed that people start telling a story and you will, like, interrupt and then talk about how something similar happened to you, and you end up taking over, like hijacking the story and making it about you? And I was just like, yeah. And I'd never been told that ever. And the worst part about the whole freaking thing was, he told me at the end of this party, and I could think back through that night, the past like 3 hours, and I could think of so many examples where I had done that exact thing. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be that guy. And I was. And it was like this huge awareness for the first time ever that I was like, wow, me being extroverted and thinking about, like, well, I just want that person to know, like, oh, I'm with you. Like, I connect with what you're saying, you and me, like, oh, I've done that. And when I did it, the blah, 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 like, oh, we have this shared experience. And I think it was out of this desire to connect, but I was stepping on people left and right. and not even realizing that this excitability in me could make me too loud, could make me seek attention, could inadvertently draw attention away from people who are also trying to get attention and connect with people. I don't know.
That every time that happens to me now, like I don't always interject. I don't like to interrupt on people. But if I share a story that is similar to a story that I've just been shared, I think, did I just do what Ed used to do?
Did I hijack?
Single time I'm like, no, I think it was good. I think I did it fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because now we've done this event so many times.
So many times. Yeah. Every time, like, oh yeah, that's something like that happened to me. Oh, Ed.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's just interesting. And it goes back to that thing about we're inviting students at this event. And when I tell this story, like, hey, I had to learn some things about myself, you know, and I think, and we tell them part of this, of maturing, is an ability to recognize who we really are, and not in a necessarily critical way, but we always say with curiosity, like, look at yourself compassionately and ask, like, yeah, who am I really? Can I be honest with me about who I am and the way, and be curious about looking for patterns in the way that I act in the world? And then, what do I do with that information? This invitation to be more aware, and then give them the agency to, well, what are you going to do with this information? And so that's what this kind of predisposition temperament event kind of is all about. And I always start with that story, kind of just giving them the opportunity to say, hey, me too. Like, I'm still learning these things about myself. And so I also mentioned this, and it's interesting too, because when we've had our therapist there speaking into this event, there's this thing about predisposition where they will talk about these studies, et cetera, where some of this stuff starts showing up in infants. Like, infants like cry, and we both have kids, and so same household, same parents, and different predispositions. Like, one will cry more easily, one becomes more emotional more quickly, one's more impulsive, you know, one is far more, it takes forever for them. When they had their birthday money, one would be like, okay, I want this, and they're ready to check out and go, and the other person's like, no, I need some time to, like,
oh, I'm just gonna save it.
Or I'm gonna save it, I'm not gonna even spend it right now. So I don't know, it's just interesting, this whole idea of predisposition. And there's this movie that Jen and I saw on date night called Three Identical Strangers. Did you ever go back and watch it?
I have not watched it. Because I know the plot so many times.
Well, yeah, you've heard
just
it
kidding,
again.
no.
But
you should
watch it because it's it's fascinating to watch it, this story. And it's a true story about these three boys. And it really starts with this one boy. And he ends up at community college, and his professor walks up and calls him by the wrong name. And then he says, like, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, no. Like, stop messing around. You're so-and-so. You're this kid. And he's like, oh, I swear I'm not. And my last name's this. And he's like, well, I've got to introduce you to this kid who is also here at this school that looks exactly like you. And then they introduce him, and they figure out they both were adopted, and they're twins. And then that story hits the news, hits the newspapers, and then another kid. What's that?
It's like a dream of mine.
It's like to find your twin?
Yes.
That's really?
Yes. Any sibling, really. I'll take any of them.
Yeah.
I'm an only child.
Oh, that's true.
Sad day.
Because my brother and I are so similar. We're 3 years apart. I've never thought about that. Maybe I need to give that some more thought. Maybe it's a dream of mine as well, to meet my twin. I don't know. That'd be pretty wild to meet somebody like, hey,
I love you.
I love me, so I must love you. But you're like evil or something.
No.
But then that story breaks, and then they discover that there's actually a third, that they were triplets that were, like, you know, given up for adoption as infants, and that the adoption agency ended up using it as an opportunity with this local, I don't know, maybe a university was nearby or some organization used it. And they put the three boys in three different families of different economic status and education, religion, different parts of town. And then they would just constantly come and doing these tests on the boys as they grew up. And all of this is they talk about all of it in this movie. Okay. And when they met, like I don't know how old they were, maybe 19, 20, like early, you know, like kind of after high school. And they discovered that, and this is, again, I think this was back in the 70s or 80s, so they all smoked the same brand of cigarettes, that's a weird thing, right? You're like, oh, that's coincidence. But they had a lot of the same mannerisms. They laughed the same way. I think their favorite food was the same. All of them had dated girls that were of a certain type. They all had the same type. And this idea that, wow, like there is a huge part of us that is just wired, that nature versus nurture, that nature actually plays probably a bigger part than we've even always thought. That the whole, like, I think it's like, the tabula rasa, the whole idea of blank slate or whatever, that it's not, that there are things written on all of our slates as we walk into the world, and then those environments interact with that to create our individuality. But so I don't know, it's just this fascinating idea. And so then we walk these students through this idea of, okay, we're going to just give you 2 of the 5, like big 5 personality trait things to self-assess on. Because at these events, we don't have time for them to take all these assessments. And then we have them assess themselves just kind of informally right there around introversion to extroversion. Where are you on that sliding scale? And we admit that it's contextual. Like with certain people, your family way more extroverted.
Yes.
But with people you don't know, in these environments that you maybe don't know people as well, where are you from, dead center, ambivert, you get energy, sometimes from being by yourself and sometimes from, being around other people? Or do you get energy from being around folks or from silence, solitude, time alone? And so we have them assess on that. Where, like, if 0 is here, an introversion to 10, extroversion to 10, where do you think you are? In that category? Because again, not with Dane, not with the kids, not around the people you know real well.
I think I'm close to the middle, more on the extroversion side. I think naturally I'm more extroverted. I do get a lot of energy from being around people. I think I care a lot about who those people are. So I'm not going to walk into a room of strangers and feel like I want to go network and all of that. But if it's with my people, or people that I know at least, then I will most of the time choose that instead of solitude.
So let's just say this, like, let's say we had like a day like today. We had our event. We're at the school, a little after 10, we do our event. We're leaving there. We run over here. Did you go home? Yeah, you did. Yeah, because you had to pick up Ezra. Yep. So I ran home for a minute, and then we're driving over here to meet at the studio, and then we'll get home, and I'm going to go teach my class at Jen's studio tonight. We have a
baseball game.
And so you guys have a baseball game. At the end of that night, if Dane's like, hey, let's go meet these new people, what are you going to do? Would you get energy from going and meeting those new people?
New people?
Yeah, like not your people. Like, we're going to go meet some folks. Like, let's go to this place and meet these new people. Or maybe he knows them and you don't.
I think I'd be up for it.
Yeah. Do you think you would get energy from it? Like,
once
you're like,
I was there.
Yeah, once you were there, like headed there, you're like, it's been a long day. Like,
not even that. It wouldn't be the day, which is what makes
interesting.
me
Makes it
that
the
what
extroversion.
makes me go more extroverted there, because it has nothing to do with the long day that would sway me away from that. It's purely like, who are these people? Yeah. So
like getting to know them and all
like,
of that.
If that sounds exhausting, like how much do you know them? Like it's on a sliding scale. Everything is on a sliding scale. Sure, obviously. Sure. I think that once I was there and like vibing, I would be so happy that I was there. Yeah. And I feel like that's the case most of the time. And the long day would have nothing to do with it. Like, my battery would not be drained. Yeah, it's funny. Jen and I comment about you and Dane that way all the time, because you guys do more things than just about anybody we know. Like, you will do stuff all day, and then you'll like, we're going to drive over and come to Annie's play, or we're going to do the baseball game, and then we see on your story that you had a game night afterwards or whatever. Like, people came over and you played games or whatever, and we're just like, wow, like they go. So yeah, that makes sense to me, actually. Yeah. I think for me, I'm very much like, the meeting the new people is exciting for me and all of that stuff. The older I get, and I am getting old, the more I kind of am coming back closer to, not to 0. I'm definitely not there, but I mean, I think I was at one point needing attention and affirmation so badly. Like, I was probably like an 8, 9, like on extroversion. I mean, just being a complete ass, like some places, like to get attention. I can remember working at the summer camp, and we'd come in the dining hall, and I was the guy that would literally, I would take my leg and throw it up and stomp on a table, like with one leg up, like Captain, like, what's Captain Morgan. Or whatever, at this table with all these guys that I knew or whatever, just to be stupid. Yeah. And I knew it would make a big noise, and all of their dishes and silverware would clang, and everybody would turn and look, and I just didn't care. And I'd just stand there and look at them.
and I thought it was funny.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember with that group of people, we went to New York City, and somebody was getting out of this cab like up in front of us, and I was like, watch this. And I walked up and like literally as they were stepping out of the cab, I pretended tripped and fell like right at their feet. Like just like and be like, oh my gosh. And they were like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm all right. So I'm sorry or whatever. And I had done it on purpose just to make my friends laugh.
That one doesn't even make sense.
No, I know, but it's just like, I'm just saying like to
so
make
funny.
my friend, I didn't care,
Yeah.
like just attention.
Yeah.
And I think back, and this is part of me maturing as well, and I try not to look at those moments like with shame.
Right.
Like it's like, that's kind of the way I was and what I needed at the time and the way I was seeking to get it. And I hate that I was like that, but I try not to like look at
I
that.
have
Like it's
plenty
part of
seasons like that too.
who I'm becoming, and it led me to where I am.
Right.
But it's not awesome. And if I weren't careful, I could find myself ruminating on this idiot that I used to be.
Yeah.
You know, at least my perspective of an idiot. If you're out there and you do that, like, I'm not calling you an idiot. Keep doing it. You keep making yourself feel great. But for me personally, me doing that stuff, I wish I hadn't done some of those things, even though that was what that group of friends loved about me, is they never knew what was going to happen if they were with Ed, I think. And that was fun for me.
It's exciting
to be that guy. So it was exciting. But the older I get, the more I come back towards, like, I think I'm probably now like a 6 or a 5.
Yeah.
And I really love venturing into like the 2s and 3s of introversion. Like I will go on camping trips now by myself, and I can really enjoy some silence and solitude and really sitting and thinking and quiet. But honestly, after by the 3rd day, I was so ready to be back and talk to people. Like I was like, man, I'm out of energy.
When Dane goes out of town, I'm like, I'm going to get so many little projects done. I'm going to do this Lego. I'm going to like do all this stuff, and it's going to be so great. Me time. And then by like day 2, I'm like, oh my gosh, where's my husband?
Yeah, where are my people? Yeah, I can get
Even
that.
though like I have little kids,
Yeah.
but I mean, they're crazy. So
yes,
not in the same category.
And they're young.
Yeah.
I
crave solitude for a different reason.
Yeah.
Because they won't stop talking.
Oh yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. And that's just a season.
Yeah.
And it's funny because so with the students, when we kind of share all this and we're trying to be vulnerable and give them the opportunity to be vulnerable and look at their introversion versus extroversion, then they talk to and then we ask them, hey, do you feel safe enough to ask the person next to you, this is the way I see me. Does that match how you see me out there? And that's a really cool exercise. I love that. And I hope that these students are sitting next to people who they can be honest with and aren't hurt by if they disagree. Right. And say, I understand that you maybe see yourself that way, but what I see actually is. And I guess depending on the closeness of that friendship is whether or not they would, are willing to be honest with them if they feel that they can be honest with them. So that, I don't know, it's just an interesting question. And I think it's funny because since we do this with students, we are always looking at our worlds and our lives and our relationships, like with our spouses and friends, trying to figure out how does this play out for us.
And our team. Like
on our team. We do
constantly.
So many, We just had our staff retreat and we went back through all of our stuff, like our strengths finders. We did Working Genius, which is a really cool thing if people don't know about Working Genius.
That one is like eerily correct.
And it's beautiful because it's so specifically work focused. Yeah. Like I think a lot of us have done personality tests, DISC, Myers-Briggs, all of these things, Enneagram, and it's very individual and you're not quite sure what to do with the information.
Right.
Like it's like, okay, I'm just more extroverted or he's more introverted, so I'm not going to bug him all the time or walk in his office and, mess with him. He likes to be alone and he needs some warning if I'm going to come over. Hey, can we meet? But this one is very so specifically like the process of a project from beginning to end and what parts of the project you like to do.
Different
Great
people.
One. Yeah, we love that one.
That one is really cool.
But with these students, when we do introversion versus extroversion out of the big 5, that's one of them. The next one that we invite them into is, hey, where are you on the agreeableness spectrum? So on the sliding scale of, like maybe it's highly agreeable over here. We'll say that's over here, highly agreeable. And that means, I don't know, we always tell them group projects is kind of the way we have students talk about this or think about it. If you're in a group project, and maybe people listening can identify with this as well.
I have another example, by the way.
Oh, I want to hear it. Okay. Group project, and let's say you have to create a presentation and your group has to present, because that's usually when I was teaching, that's what we would do. And it became one project and it was easier to grade and it had students like interact and have to work collaboratively, which is a huge skill.
Yep.
But then inevitably, the amount of effort and work done in that group is different depending on the student. Mm-hmm. But in that, if you're a student in that group, then you're over here and someone isn't doing what they said they were going to do. They're 5 slides out of the 20 slides or whatever. Mm-hmm. Are you the person who's more willing to approach them, and say, like, I need you to get your stuff done? Or are you highly agreeable and you don't want that conflict and you're going to avoid that conflict and you're just going to do it? Mm-hmm. And you're like, no. If they don't do it, I'm going to go home. I'll do your slides. I'm going to do them because our grade depends on this. No conflict. And they're like, awesome. Okay, cool.
Sweet,
thanks.
that's what I wanted.
Why does it have to be a guy? Why was that a guy voice? I'm just kidding.
That wasn't a guy voice. It was I don't want to explain myself.
I'm just messing. But it most likely was a dude. And so anyways, all that to say, like, yeah, you would rather not confront the person. So you're highly agreeable. You don't want conflict. You're on this end. So that's the 10 over here. Back to somewhere in between. You kind of can go back and forth between being agreeable. And then over here to less agreeable. And that would be you're going to tell that person, and probably you didn't even wait. You just felt it and you just said it. Like
I know you're thinking about this. Yes. Don't even think about not doing these slides.
Yes, exactly. Or it wasn't even until like, hey, the project's getting close to being done. It's like, hey, I've noticed you're not doing anything. You came to the meeting today with none of your stuff done.
Yeah.
So where is that? Are you going to do that? Because my grade depends on it. Mm-hmm. And you just like conflict, boom, like right there. And you don't even think about it. It just comes right out. Like, I'm just going to, of course, confront this person.
Right.
And then you're somewhere on that kind of sliding scale. Mm-hmm. And so 0 over here to 10 agreeableness to 10, less agreeable or disagreeableness. Where are you in that, do you think?
I really struggle in this area.
With what?
Because, I don't know, maybe I'm just living a double life. I don't know. I feel like I'm right in the middle. If that, like, situationally,
contextually again,
I am going to be very agreeable. Like, I will never send my food back if it's wrong.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
That really surprises me about you somehow.
Does it?
Yes. I don't know why.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, I guess.
We're learning.
We're learning.
I feel bad for the waiter or the waitress that got it wrong, and I just don't want that.
Not trying to cause trouble for these people.
Right. Like, I don't want you to get in trouble with your boss. Like, it's fine. If it's fine. Like, I can just say it's fine. Or I make Dane do all my returns. All my like in-person returns.
Oh, like if you have to go back to Lowe's or Target or something to return things, you make him do all of that?
I do.
Again, I am so surprised.
Yeah, unless it's like Amazon where I can go into the UPS store and I don't have to talk to anybody and I can just put it in a bag and stick the sticker on and leave. Yeah,
well, those people don't care anyways. You go up and they're just like, boop, boop, thank you, you're good.
Exactly. Yeah, so that's my very agreeable side.
That's fascinating. Okay, go ahead.
And then the other side is if, like, I'm a very dependable person.
You certainly are.
The things that I'm responsible for, I've put a lot of weight into that.
Yes.
And so if someone is impending on me being dependable, or if we're working on something as a team and someone is not like doing their part, I will talk to them. I might not talk to them at the beginning.
Right.
Like, I benefit of the doubt and like give you as much time as possible, grace, mercy, all the things, right?
Yes, yeah.
But at some point, like, I will talk and be like, okay, but this is now due tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so, or like if it's at home, like, you've waited this long to do blank and now this is making us late, or this is making this happen.
Or you're super stressed now.
Yes. And I'm being pulled into this to help you
I'm affected
figure
by
this out.
Your lack of
action.
And
so I will always say something in those moments.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it's kind of, I don't know. I think it's kind of in the middle.
Yeah, I agree, actually, hearing you say that.
Like, those things like butt up against each other.
Yeah, because I don't see you being highly confrontational at all.
No.
But you're so like get your own shit done kind of a person. And you are also like on our team willing to say, hey, is this going to be done? Like, we need this done. that I guess I've just never thought about you like, no, Dane, you go in and return this because I don't want to give the reason. I don't want to hurt their feelings that their product didn't do what I wanted. Or they're going to know that I used it once and like now I'm just returning it.
I can't even look them in the eyes.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. That makes sense. Yeah, for me, it's funny because I would say I used to be far more agreeable, and I think I still am to some degree, but like I'm so willing to have difficult conversations only because I have had the benefit of them so many times. Like on the other side of it, I just know like, man, if I don't say something, I'm going to be resentful. Like I'm going to be feeling like this person is getting away with this. It's going to be awkward. I have these feelings.
Yeah.
I don't have to hide the fact that I'm frustrated with you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I will have those difficult conversations. Mm-hmm. I think I definitely lean more agreeable than I have to act, particularly.
I agree with that.
As a teacher, I had to have difficult conversations with parents when I was leading that student ministry, that we were working in for all those years, all these kind of conversations with small group leaders and stuff like that, and difficult things about you missed again, like your group was there and there was nobody there with your group. And so I don't know, I've gotten used to
a little bit too forgiving for my taste sometimes.
Which is interesting from the person who's, like a little bit more agreeable. But yeah, I tend to be, I think, very forgiving and, gracious in those situations, but still it's like, I don't know. I can have very difficult conversations. So maybe I'm also kind of in between, but,
maybe it's just learned, like it's survival, like learned survival.
Yeah.
I feel like you and I both have that in common where we've had to like go back and forth and learn and chameleon and like do all of this and we've seen both sides.
Yeah. That's
like,
so
I
true.
don't want either of these.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's gotta be something in the middle.
Yeah. That's fair. And so then based on that, we're like, hey, and if you are willing to, as an individual, like we're saying this to these students, like if you can kind of internalize this or at least realize this might be true about me, man, this is going to inform so many decisions like moving forward. This is going to be so helpful. This information is going to be so helpful because even if your family is a family of, people who've worked in finance like their whole life and work on the number crunching side of things and have done very well in that way, you're an extroverted individual. And if you sit on a computer, in these kind of analytical like jobs your whole career,
you're going to be really unhappy.
You're going to find yourself feeling like, yes, I don't want to go to work. And it creates, this amazing opportunity to make money and get resources for my family and support, which is not necessarily bad, but don't be surprised when you find yourself very frustrated, not feeling perhaps purposeful, or just being discontent, just feeling this like, ugh, I don't want to go to work.
Right.
And if you are, like highly agreeable and you are in a job where you have to like litigate or you have to like confront people or whatever.
Cause so much stress.
Yes, leader, the stress
and anxiety.
And don't be surprised. Again, you can choose to do that, but don't be surprised if you feel this incredible tension because it's not going to be out of your wheelhouse necessarily. You can learn these things. But the more we're aware of perhaps who we are and the equipment we're working with, perhaps we can aim a little bit better, at least in a general direction of things that might be a better fit for our own predisposition. Sure. And we always say this is not an excuse. Like you're not like, you can't use this as an excuse for I'm just this way. And we all know people like that.
For sure.
But it's good to know a little bit about yourself. So we took this and we kind of worked out what are some of the things that might be true about people who fall into these different quadrants based on those two kind of axes. And so we assign them colors, and then we have kind of this thing that we show each of the students like, hey, if you are more extroverted and you are more agreeable, then this might be kind of true about you. If you are extroverted but less agreeable, more you don't mind confrontation and conflict, this might also be true of you. And then same thing with, introversion towards agreeableness and less agreeableness. And we give them here are some beautiful things about your character, all these strengths that will be it might be. Again, we humbly say that might be true of you. They're not all, like not all these might match. Yeah. But this might be true of you. But then we also say, but here is something we wish we had heard when we were younger than in our 20s.
These are some things for growth.
Some potential areas for growth that you might want to pay attention to.
Yeah.
And it's been fascinating to watch students come up to us afterwards and be like, I just learned today that this is true. We had a student actually at one of our recent events when we did this. And this person came up afterwards and was like, I just realized that I'm red and that I don't encourage people enough. And so I wanted to tell you, I thought you did a great job in the presentation today. And I wouldn't have naturally kind of gone out of my way to tell you that, but like I should probably let you know I appreciate this.
That is
and I was
so
like,
cool.
What amazing awareness.
Yeah. Carry that into your day.
Yes,
and
exactly.
See how it
And be a red. Be that red, but be a leader who's aware that, I maybe overlooked
strong
this
decision maker. All of these things are so true about you. And you might run over people. Pay attention to it.
Yeah.
You know? And then try not to.
Yeah. So I thought maybe really quickly as we kind of wrap this up, we'd go through each of these. So anyone listening have put themselves on this these two continuums, and we will kind of go through these things. Okay. So I have the screen in front of me, so I'll just kind of read them off. We respond however. But the first person is the introverted, agreeable person. So you're more introverted and you don't like conflict very much.
Got it.
So strengths might be like you're great at listening. You're probably generous with your time and maybe even your money and stuff like that. You tend to be kind and friendly, generally speaking. Easygoing. You're a sympathetic person. You can be witty, but people have to sit near you because you're introverted. So that's the person at the party. You're not going to be loud or make a big scene. But if you sit near this person, they might say something that's like, oh, dude, that's hilarious. And you're over there giggling because they whispered it to you. And they're interested in people's ideas, and they don't need to be the center of attention at a party. So those are some of those strengths for the agreeable or the more agreeable introvert. But then the areas for growth would be they can blame themselves. They can be indecisive. Hard for them to make decisions. They often won't speak up even if they've been offended. They're afraid to, do some of that stuff. They can procrastinate and they also can seem bored. Like you're not quite sure if they're having fun if they're at a place. They sometimes have a lack of words. It takes them a while to process things. Yes. So at meetings, they may not be, say a lot. They may be processing and need a little more time and may come back to you and say things like that. And they often will overcommit. Like they will say yes to too many things because they don't want to say they can't do it. They're trying to please those people. And so that's kind of that person. Yep. And what's interesting is I find that I am some of these things. Like I'm a little bit green. Like we often this overlaps. Yes. Yeah, this is just green. Yeah, this was green. I didn't say that, did I?
I don't think so.
Yeah, so this would be that we identify this person as like a green person. And so there's some of these characteristics that are true about me, but I'm also a yellow, which we'll get to a little bit later. So yeah, that was the green. And then we show them some pictures of people from pop culture shows, et cetera, characters and things like Jim Halpert and Patrick Starr and stuff like that. It's kind of funny. Now the reds, okay, these are extroverted, less agreeable. So this is the exact opposite of the green. This is the opposite quadrant across the way. So they are extroverted or lean towards extroversion, but they're okay with conflict. And some of them very okay with conflict.
Very okay.
But their strengths, that creates a lot of strengths, right? Because they are willing to be out in front and get they're comfortable with the attention.
Yes.
And they can be like very comfortable like confronting people and things and speaking their mind without too many worries. They're highly persuasive. They'll take charge. They're comfortable with change. They could be perhaps not easily discouraged. So something gets in there just like, we can work through this. They will stick with ideas. They can usually speak or articulate their ideas very easily is another one. And they can often see what needs to be done. They can see like, I know what we need to do. And so they'll take charge and do it. But then you can imagine what the flip side of that coin is.
They're super fun.
They are super fun. Well, they're great leaders, obviously, and end up being like leaders of organizations and CEOs and stuff like that. But they sometimes can forget to encourage people, like I just mentioned. They can accidentally run over other people and their ideas. They can at least seem arrogant, even if they're maybe not. They can't, but some of them are actually arrogant. They think that their ideas are better, et cetera, than other people. Whatever they're working on can become more important than the feelings of the people on their team.
Yep.
They don't always see these things as weaknesses.
This is my favorite one.
It's really funny because they see all of these things like,
Like, those
Sympathy
aren't
can be challenging. They're not weak. Somebody's got to be the hard ass. Like these are strengths, which is a really funny thing. And they can come across as harsh or blunt. Like they could just get right to the point and they just want to, they'll just tell you straight up how they feel sometimes. And they can be like, dang, that person was like a dick, or whatever, because they just said it. And if you're not used to that, then you're just like oh, wow. Like, whoa, that person came off strong. So that's an interesting thing.
There are pieces of me in all of that.
Yeah.
But I am also yellow.
You're yellow-red. I'm yellow-green. That's interesting. So here comes the yellows. This is both of us are this. So strengths can be like at a party, you want to have us at parties because we mix and mingle and we can, be around and bring energy to parties. Creative, generally we love and have all these ideas. Highly social, we can be in that moment. We can, live in that moment. We can also be witty and have some funny things to say or whatever. We don't mind the spotlight, but we can be highly emotional. We'll feel things big.
Yes.
Super happy, but we can also be super sad.
This sucks.
So the yellow is, and I forgot to mention this, is extroversion. So this would be, they're super extroverted, but they're also more agreeable.
Agreeable.
Yeah. So that's yellow. So extroverted, agreeable. Last one, red, was extroverted, less agreeable. So this person is yellow is less comfortable with conflict, but they love being around people, get energy from people. Yeah. And then there's the blues.
No, we didn't do our weaknesses.
Oh, we didn't. Look at me trying to jump over our weaknesses.
That was such a yellow thing to do.
That was. I was literally looking at the slides. I'm like, oh, I think we're down here. Yeah, I jumped over our weaknesses.
Oh my gosh,
that's crazy. No, we cannot.
No, let's talk
we are
about
loud.
Our failures.
We are loud. We are disorganized and messy, or can be. We can interrupt. Easily discouraged. We rarely plan ahead, or I used to very rarely plan ahead. Have a hard time working by myself, and our emotions can change rapidly. And once we get bored with something, it's hard for me to want to keep working on something to finish a project. That's really tough.
That's why this job is good for us.
It is really good for us.
Modes constantly.
Yeah, we're always getting to be creative, and it's variety.
It's so much variety. It keeps me intrigued.
Yeah. And then the blues. And so blues are introverted and less agreeable. They're okay with conflict, and they're introverted. And these are the people that at our events sit there with their arms crossed and like, why are we doing this? There's a better use of my time. They're usually not about it. And not to like point anybody out or like single them out or whatever, but it's just generally, if you're, like we say this at these events, if you've been sitting here this whole time like,
this is so stupid.
This is so dumb. Why are we doing this? Chances are you're a blip.
Are they still talking?
They're still talking. And introverted, less agreeable. Strengths. They work great alone. Incredibly loyal to the couple friends they have or one friend they have. They would die for that person. They don't really care about getting to know too many other people. Highly loyal. They're also incredibly creative, detail-oriented. They like to plan ahead, and they're good at planning ahead and anticipating problems and things like that. Very intentional when they choose to speak, and they know their limits. They don't have any problem saying no to things. But then on the other side of that, there are potential areas for growth. They can be highly skeptical. Their standards can be really, really high for others and themselves. They can be kind of highly perfectionistic, if that's even a word, perfectionists. They can be insecure socially, like they don't necessarily, since they're introverted, love being around lots of people. They love being around their people sometimes. They can be pessimistic, going into a situation assuming maybe something bad could happen. They struggle with risk and adventure. Don't change plans on a blue.
Right.
Because they had already thought through, we're going to this restaurant at this time and don't change it up on me.
Right.
And sometimes they're quiet and won't speak up, even if they know the answer. Sometimes if you don't ask them directly, they may not like speak up in those moments. So just as we equipped these students like with this stuff, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of interesting to think about like, what do you do with that now?
Yeah.
Knowing this about yourself, how does it change the way you think about the way you interact with your teachers, family, peers, coaches, teammates,
roommates soon to come.
Yeah, exactly. With their roommates. I don't know, just good things to know.
Yeah. And again, not looking at them like the negatives. Like we look at these areas for growth, like not in a negative light.
Right.
We're not trying to make you feel like crap when you walk out of here because you do all these things poorly. We're trying to say, you're amazing at all
Yeah.
of these things. And these things you probably are in your blind spot.
Yeah.
And if you just know about them,
Yeah.
then you can grow and you can improve and be emotionally healthy.
Yeah. And it's okay to be curious about it, be compassionate, and understand that you're this way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay. There's no right predisposition. There's
Right.
no correct one.
No.
It's like we need people in all of these categories. And like on our
Yes.
team, we so need people
Yes.
of different predispositions to get all the
Absolutely.
stuff done that we need to do. And each one brings something to the table.
Right.
I think we find ourselves incredibly uncomfortable and frustrated when we are trying to be something that we aren't.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. I can remember like wanting to be something else. Like I
Mm-hmm.
can remember wanting to be different, and still in a lot of ways. I
Still
see
in a lot of
people
ways I do.
in other temperaments and I'm
Yeah.
like, gosh, it'd be so cool if I were more organized.
Same.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully this is helpful to do this way and kind of like
Yeah.
walk people through some of this content. And we'll do this from time to time and kind of like jump in and say, okay, here's the session we do on fill in the blank.
Yep.
But good stuff. Yeah. We'll be back again soon. Any last words?
Excited to, we have a couple of things in the works. We have a couple of people that we're excited to reach out to.
Oh yeah, to be on the
interviewing.
podcast.
Mhm.
Yeah, really exciting.
Working on that in the next couple of days, trying to get them scheduled, but some incredible stories to share.
Yeah, big time.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we
Excited to
look
be
forward
back.
to it. So fun hanging out. All right, that's it. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.